In my last video, I talked about how chronic pain isn't always a direct reflection of ongoing damage in the body, and how the nervous system plays a central role in how pain is created and maintained. In this video, I want to build on that and talk about something that often comes up in this context, and that's mind-body syndromes. Now, this is a term that can be really misunderstood. So for some people, it immediately raises concerns like, are you saying it's all in my head? Or are you saying it's just psychological? So I want to start by being very clear that is not what it means. When we talk about mind-body syndromes, we're talking about real physical symptoms like pain, fatigue, dizziness, gastrointestinal problems, and many others that are influenced by how the nervous system is functioning, not imagined, not made up, and certainly not something one can just simply switch off. So the term mind-body simply reflects the fact that the brain and the body are constantly interacting. Our thoughts, emotions, stress levels, and past experiences can influence the nervous system. And the nervous system in turn affects things like heart rate, muscle tension, digestion, inflammation, and pain sensitivity. Now, importantly, this works both ways. So physical illness, pain, inflammation, and fatigue can also affect mood, emotions, concentration, behavior, and the way the nervous system responds to the world. So the brain affects the body and the body affects the brain. It's also important to consider what happens after symptoms appear. When we experience pain, fatigue, or any other physical sensation, the brain naturally tries to make sense of them. Now, that can lead to worry, increased attention to symptoms, changes in behavior, or other protective responses. These reactions are completely understandable and often helpful in the short term, but over time, they can increase nervous system activation and contribute to a cycle where symptoms become more intense or persistent. This isn't because symptoms are all in the mind. It reflects the ongoing interaction between biology, perception, and how we respond. When the nervous system remains dysregulated for long periods, it can begin producing very real physical symptoms. Sometimes these come and go, sometimes they shift, and sometimes they become really persistent and chronic and very difficult to explain through tests and scans alone. And this is why people are often told their tests are normal while they still don't feel well. And that gap can be incredibly frustrating. So mind-body syndromes are not a diagnosis of exclusion in the dismissive sense. They're not simply what's left over when nothing else can be found. They're actually grounded in an understanding of how the nervous system functions under stress and strain. And that strain can come from many different places. It might begin with a physical illness or injury. It might be linked to prolonged stress, or it might be shaped by earlier traumatic experiences that have influenced how safe or unsafe the body tends to feel. Often it's actually a combination of factors. It's also important to recognize that these processes can exist alongside diagnosed medical conditions. So someone can have a recognized illness or injury and also develop additional nervous system-driven symptoms or experience an amplification of existing symptoms. So it's not always either or. Often both are happening at the same time. So again, this is not about symptoms being just psychological. It's about recognizing that the body and the nervous system can learn patterns, much like any other learned response. Now, these processes typically occur automatically in outside conscious awareness, and sometimes those patterns keep the system in a state of high alert. And when that happens, pain can be amplified, sensitivity can increase, and multiple systems across the body can be affected. One difficulty is that the term mind-body can still imply a separation between mind and body, when in reality, we're talking about one integrated system where biological, psychological, and social processes are constantly interacting. So another way of thinking about this is simply a nervous system that has become overprotective or dysregulated. So the key takeaway is this: these are real symptoms, real experiences, underpinned by real biology and shaped by a dynamic nervous system that is constantly interacting with the mind, the body, and the environment. Understanding that opens up different possibilities, because if symptoms are being influenced by the nervous system, then part of the work becomes helping the system feel safer, more regulated, and less reactive over time. That doesn't mean symptoms will disappear overnight. It takes time. And it doesn't mean there's a simple solution. But it does mean there are ways forward that go beyond looking only for structural damage or disease. Now, in future videos, I'll talk more about what that actually looks like in practice, including different approaches to managing these types of long-term symptoms. But in the next video, I want to shift slightly and talk about something many people with chronic illness or pain will recognize: why communication with healthcare professionals can sometimes be so difficult, and why that matters more than we often acknowledge. If this is something you've experienced, you are definitely not alone. But for now, if you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with anyone who you think might benefit. And if you've ever struggled with the idea of mind-body syndromes or have experiences you'd like to share, please feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.